Hi everyone, and welcome to Murphy's Law Garage. Today we talk about the infamous recalled Harbor Freight jack stands and the fact that we've used them here at Murphy's Law Garage. Stick around for the whole video. We're actually going to attempt to fail test these. I'm going to jack up the front of the shop truck and I'm going to try to upset them and see if I can knock it down. Hopefully I don't tear anything up. And then later in the video, we're actually going to just go to Harbor Freight and see how difficult it is to return these things, and maybe even do a engineering diagnosis on what exactly failed here. Y'all stick around. Dang it. All right, everyone. This jacked up real quick. I'm gonna put up on the screen right now exactly what makes and models have been included in the recall. So if you're looking at the recall right now, Harbor Freight and the NHTSA are claiming there are about 500,000 defective units, and you can see the model numbers, and we just happen to be using some at Murphy's Law Garage. So we're going to try to make them fail. What's interesting is we use these jack stands to support David's 7.3 Power Stroke Bronco for months on end without the 40s on, and we never had a mishap. But I can tell you from looking at them real close, I could see how it would be possible to hurt yourself. Let's get this stuck in here. Now, I've chosen my truck in a very specific location that I believe not to be an issue if it were to fall. Give me a second. All right, let's sit the truck down on the stands very unceremoniously. You ready for this? All right, didn't break yet. That's good news. Now, something else you'll notice, pan the camera here, the trailer, the trailer is still in the back of the truck. So I guess we'll call this kind of a worst case scenario. The truck isn't fully off the ground right now. You can see that I've got the suspension fully extended. The wheels are just barely touching the ground. So I should be able to do a lot to try to upset it. And let's see if we can get it to fall off. Now, they said in the NHTSA report that a large shift in weight or something like that could cause the failure. So I'm 250 pounds. Let's see if it'll fail. All right. I don't think it's going to come off that easy. So let me bring the front end up a little bit more and make sure the tires are completely off the ground, so no one can say that I'm not trying. Give me a minute. All right, let's set it back down unceremoniously. On there. Suspension droop. What you gonna do? All right. So there yet again, tire is very barely touching the frame's actually sagging a little. Let's try again. This is a very heavy truck. So I've got a feeling that part of the problem is a lighter vehicle. So to test that, let's bring the camera over to the back of the trailer and actually pick up the back of the trailer where my 250 pounds can work easier than trying to move 7,000 pounds. Let me bring it right back. All right, so like I was saying, I believe the lighter weight trailer might actually make a difference for this failure, is because these jacks, they have pawls right here, And the more weight, even if the pawl is insufficient, the more weight that you have on the pawl, the more difficult it's going to be to overcome the pawl mechanism if it's not built very well. And I believe that might be the failure here. So a worst case scenario for that type of defect would actually be for the vehicle it's lifting to be lighter, not heavier. The diesel Bronco is very heavy. The Cummins all by itself on the frame of that truck is 1,000 pounds just on the nose. So rather than lifting something heavy, let's put it on something very light and see if moving it will upset it enough for it to drop. Give me a minute. All right, so here you go. Here's your worst case scenario. Very, very light trailer that could easily be moved by hand. I'm gonna give it some light bumps. You can actually hear the jack stand skidding in the back over there, but not falling. Let's try a little more. It doesn't want to fail. But here's where I think the problem happens. I think because there's not enough weight on here, it's very possible because these handles are bent out, that you might actually be able to, with a light weight, like a small, medium-sized car, bump this pawl enough to release the mechanism and have a collapse. So let me bring in a little closer and we'll try that. All right, let's give it a shot. Try not to lose a foot here. Yep. Would you look at that? Let's see if we can make the other one fail. One more. Now this one's got some awkward weight on it, so it's much more resilient to releasing. So it is moving. Let me try giving it a love tap with my Harbor Freight jack handle. So you can see there, the pawl has actually come up. Can you see that? Yes, you can. The pawl has actually come up. So you can see that the pawl is actually up, but the jack stand still has not failed. So what I believe happened here is the pawl has only pushed up on one of those ridges in the ratchet that it's supposed to hold on to. So this is a very precarious situation. In fact, it could collapse at any time. But you can see over here, our other one that failed basically immediately the second I bumped it with my foot. And the reason I believe that is because the weight was equal. So the trailer didn't have a lean to it like this, and therefore was applying a lot less weight to that pawl. And whenever I kicked it, it just fell out. Let's see if we can get this one to fail with a little bit of shaking. All right, let's give it a shot. No, it doesn't seem like it's just gonna fail. Not once it's in this awkward bind like this. It is pretty well and entrapped. Let's try this way. No, it's not just gonna bind. Let's pick it up one more time and see if we can get this one to fail as easy as it did the first time. All right, so you can see here I've brought you down nice and close where you can better see it. Let's see if, now that it's not at an awkward angle, if it'll fail that easily again. See, this is all the way down and it fell. Just that simple. Let me try one more in slow-mo for y'all. Well, there you go. Failure was just that simple. Now, let's talk about why. For something that says it's able to handle 6 tons, Look at how tiny the actual pawl here is. And it's almost as if the casting is undershot. You can see they're very tiny. And also there's evidence that the pawl is only riding the outside edge and not actually fully engaging on the front. You can see all that stress I put on it. There's almost no paint missing in the very center of these teeth. It's only touching on the outside edge. The other thing you'll make note of is look at that pawl. Let me get square with this. Do you see that that pawl is not square in that hole? You see that this side is actually leading this side. So the actual place it's only really making hard contact with is this side. Yet again, another casting failure. If we look at it head on here, you can actually see all of that hard metal contact on this side of it, and that it's rolled the edge over from being forced multiple times. Now, something else that's interesting, let me get this set up in here. A little hard to do single-handedly. Watch that pawl and see how little movement it takes here for this to fall. You ready? Like, that's not even a 1/16 an inch of movement. Boop, littlest bit, and it's down. Can you even perceive how little I've moved that? Ready? So probably right around a 1/16, and it falls. And this would be most deadly on a light vehicle. Chances are a heavy vehicle can force that pawl in there hard enough that it's not going to collapse. But a light vehicle, if you can upset this jack enough, wiggle this around enough that this non-square pawl can be racked just a little bit, it's shooting down into the stand. So there you go, simple enough. A very blatant and honestly careless casting defect that should have been caught at the factory. And I mean, to be honest, maybe I should have stared at it a little closer. You know, we're all a little hard on money from time to time, and we go to Harbor Freight for these Chinese tools to save money. But sometimes you got to think, like in the case of this, is it worth your life? Now, I'm going to go to Harbor Freight just for us so we can see how difficult it is to get Harbor Freight to return these. But I'm going to replace these with American-made units. Something actually made worth a darn that's not going to kill me, my friends, or my family. So, y'all hold on. All right, y'all, let's go see how difficult they are to return.
Still right here, bud.
Yes, ma'am.
Phone number?
One.
Not in there?
Ma'am.
Not in there? Oh, I didn't get the phone number right. 985 20. Bet you there now, I'll show you.
Yeah.
You're bringing these in. They're the recall.
Yes, ma'am. Supposed to be a store credit or replaced in store with a non-defective unit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Thanks.
That's the ones that's collapsing when you...
These, look.
I managed to make one fail on video, too.
Really?
Yeah.
Lexi, the new ones are behind my... These are the new ones behind my register? Yeah. Okay. Ah, yay.
Okay. Grab that right there?
Yeah.
Okay.
So... You don't have any idea when. Yeah.
Probably 2 years ago.
So what's causing? Just it's collapsing or just the pin falls out?
They're saying the ratchet's wrong.
Look at how the pawl's not parallel the casting. It's just grabbing on the very edge of this tooth right here.
So when you put the weight, it just...
So I tried it on a heavy truck and it didn't fail, but on a light car it did. Watch how little movement it takes.
Holy crap.
Very barely up there. I've had lots of very heavy vehicles I was underneath with those.
I don't even want to think about that, baby.
Yep.
You have a warranty on the new one?
No, ma'am. Would
Thank you,
y'all
darling.
would y'all mind horribly if I pulled one of these out the box and took a picture of them
Yes,
side by
yes,
side?
absolutely.
You can do that. That's one.
I just needed to mess with somebody for a second, honey. I mean, you know.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh,
Look at the difference in the size of the poles.
They get maybe.
Oh man, yeah.
There's hardly anything there for that pole to grab.
That's nothing.
And then look how big it is on this one. It actually bites the pole, right?
I'm over there. I'm bringing the thing back. There's been a good many of them.
Well, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Look at how square that pole is inside of the hole. And like you saw in the video inside, that lady was so nice, wasn't she? Look how big the poles are on this, and I'm going to show you all the picture right here. Of the difference between those two poles. Man, that is crazy. To think that this whole time I could have killed myself. And I mean, I guess that's it, right? How much do you value your life? You know, it's okay to have maybe a jack that's not made too well and cheap, but the jack stands, the thing that you trust to hold the vehicle up whenever you get underneath it to do work, that needs to be substantial. And at the very least, even if NHTSA made Harbor Freight do it, the replacement units are free. It was pretty painless. I know Harbor Freight doesn't want their customers working with subpar equipment. I'm sorry, I'm next to highway. It's a little noisy. All right, so quick intermission. Before we do the outro, my wife reminded me that what's the point of this if we don't actually test the new stand? So let's give it a shot. All right, here's the way it failed last time. Back. It would much rather slide out from under there. Then move. Well, there you go. Definitive proof that the old ones were defective and they fixed a real problem. So y'all get out there, please, 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 if you have these jack stands, go to Harbor Freight and get them replaced. It's too easy. It's not worth your life. I don't care if you've had them for 10 years and they've worked fine. Just replace the darn things before you hurt yourself. They collapse way too easy. Y'all saw me kick it with my boot. Now, I know some people are going to say, well, you didn't put it under a 7,000-pound truck and kick it. Well, no, I don't want to lose my foot. I don't want to damage the truck and I don't want to damage the stand. But that trailer is a steel deck and it is very heavy and it very well represents a 4,000 or 5,000 pound vehicle like a mid-sized car, a little SUV, so on and so forth. And if I can pick up the back of that deck on that stand and kick it and it falls, it could happen to you. So please, from everyone at Murphy's Law Garage, go replace your jack stands. Harbor Freight's making it super easy to get it done. Y'all be safe. We love you. Peace.